go on and get started, I want to introduce Lynn just by saying that 8 years ago was when I listened to some of the information that you're going to hear tonight for the first time. I didn't get to be in a fun, energetic meeting like this one with a dynamic speaker like Lynn. I was on the telephone looking at a PowerPoint on a computer screen with a consultant in Nebraska on the other end looking at the same presentation on her computer. I had never met her. The connection was that her sister had recommended the products. Her sister had said they made a visible difference in her skin in 4 weeks. And since I was turning a big 5 number, I was willing to try something that might make a visible difference in 4 weeks, and it actually did. And so after I had asked her for yet another round of samples to give to my friends, because I was so thrilled with this little system that's right up there, she asked me to take a look at the business. She said, "You're recommending all these friends, don't send them to me. You can build a business with this." And I was not one bit interested. All I heard was sales and was thanks but no thanks. Literally only had this little phone conversation with our PowerPoints going so that I could just get it over with and say thanks but no thanks, good luck in your business, and I will be your loyal client for life because the products are amazing. And yet what I heard during just this brief time on the phone was, she was not a experienced consultant like Lynn with an awesome success story like Lynn is going to share. She was not even an interesting speaker. She'd only been in the business for about 4 weeks, and she was reading word for word on the computer screen. So you'd think I would have just gone to sleep and hung up the phone, but what she was reading about the company, about the products, and about the profession of network marketing, something I'd never thought of as a profession, but it absolutely is, got me to open my very tightly closed mind a little crack and made me begin to do my own research. And after many weeks of the research just stacking the scales with this is an amazing opportunity, it's solid, you need to do this, and the other side of the scale is going, I can't do one of these things, what if it doesn't work? You know, finally what clicked in my mind was, you know, what if it does work? And what I can say 8 years down the road is it does if you work. And that has been, those who work reap the rewards in this business. And I am so thankful that I said yes to this. It's been life-changing for me on many levels, only one of which is the income. And I love the privilege I have to offer this opportunity to others. And I've loved getting to have Lynn as a friend and business partner for 8 years. Very unlikely, you know, connection that we would never have met. Lynn was in Texas when I was having that phone conversation with the girl from Nebraska. Lynn now lives in Hawaii. And she's here, as most of you know, to do a car presentation for someone else in her organization in DC tomorrow night. And I'm so thankful that she stayed up all night and flew and took a quick nap and shower and boom, ready to go. So thank you so much for coming, Lynn.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to
Okay. Sorry, we had to have a little powwow there. Thanks, everybody. Yes, I'm rested and showered and redid my makeup and ready to go. So we're just going to jump right in here, and we'll see if there's hopefully some bright light bulbs that go off in some of your minds tonight. I know we have a lot of men and husbands in the room. I love that. Thanks for coming and supporting your wife, or whatever she is. So, you know, have you ever thought back to when you were a child, and did you dream about what life would look like someday? I think most of us as kids were dreamers, and dream about what kind of career you'd have. I actually said when I was 4 I was going to be a doctor. I said I was going to be a brain surgeon. Thank the Lord I didn't go that route. How many kids you'd have, where you wanted to live. And, you know, I think as adults then sometimes it takes a moment to just, I'm just asking you to reflect back a little bit and say, you know, is this how you thought life would look? I think for so many of us as adults, we realize if we really reflect back on that and what we thought when we were young, our life does not look how we had dreamed it would be. And, you know, it's interesting, I have an almost 7-year-old and an almost 9-year-old, and he's the boy. And he is bound to be the world's greatest negotiator ever to walk on this planet. I mean, I'm telling you, that kid could sell anything. but he will never stop at no. And if any of you have young kids, you're gonna recognize that. Kids don't stop when they hear no. They just think if they ask another way, or at least mine do, if we ask another way, or maybe I wait a few more minutes and ask again, she'll be distracted and now she'll say yes. And so that's how kids keep working to get what they want. And as we grow from our childhood years, we hear no and no and no and no and no, and things start to not happen like we had thought they would, and many of us stop on our dreams. And, you know, I think for many people it happens, maybe starts to happen in high school, and then reality sets in about maybe our 20s to 30s. My reality started to set in when I was in my very late 20s. My husband and I both are physicians, and we met in medical school, and I had said I would be a doctor from the age of 4, and I never changed that path. And so when, I'm going to move these roses before I knock them over. So when we were finishing our training, and at that point it had been like 11 years of post-high school training, I was realizing that my life did not look like I had envisioned it. I wanted to have time, and I wanted to have money. And as two physicians, probably anybody out there would say, oh, well, you two would have had money. And that's probably correct, but what we weren't having and what we did not have is time. And I lived in a false sense of reality that somehow it was magically going to become better, you know? And I think we all can live in that. Oh, next year after X, Y, and Z, this will be better. And we keep living in that. And so we knew we didn't want to be those physicians that I trained under who were 75 and they couldn't retire because they didn't even know what to do in their life. They had never had time, so they didn't even have a hobby. Well, unlike them, I have a huge hobby, which is horses, and I don't know if I still have it. Oh, my bruise is almost gone. I got kicked by one of my yearlings, and I thought, oh, I got to wear a skirt when I travel there. I'm going to have a big old bruise. But I love horses, and that's my love and my hobby, and what I love to spend my time outside of my family doing. And I was realizing I wasn't going to be able to do any of that. So we said, okay, how can we retire early? That's what my husband and I were already talking about in our late 20s. How can we retire in our 40s? But we didn't want to change the way or our lifestyle that we lived, because that's another thing that happens. People go into retirement and now their income is on a fixed income, and now they really can't go do all those things that they wish they could do because their income has dropped. So we said, okay, how are we going to do this? And we read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I was actually so close-minded, probably maybe more than Dina was, about anything that was outside of the box. And it's probably hard to believe that now, seeing me 10 years later. But I read that book and I still thought, no, I don't know how we're going to bring in residual income. But that's really what we were talking about, and what I'm talking about here now is finding a way to bring in income when you're not actively having to work every moment for that income. And so I thought it was going to come from real estate, and obviously that's taken a huge drop. And, you know, I didn't really know where ours was going to come from. I just knew, I dreamed that my life was going to be different than it was. So in walks Arbonne. And when I started this business, which is 10 years in January, this is where we were as a family, because I think some people who meet me now don't realize the way life was. But our biggest stressor was money. I'm sure most people can relate. We had 6 figures in credit card debt. Then I had school loans on top of that. We always had more month than money. And if anything went wrong, like a water heater blows or your tires blow, I mean, that was just going to screw everything up. Our life was totally determined by our jobs. I'm sure many of you can relate. Family was a long, far second. We both were so mentally and physically exhausted that really, even if we had time together, we were sleeping and we couldn't even enjoy it. And all of these stressors caused so much fights and tension. I used to have chronic headaches, chronic neck pain. Of course, I totally didn't think at the time that it had anything to do with the fact that I had a horribly stressful job. But, you know, that was our reality. That is where we were. And in all honesty, most people in our position would have felt stuck. What options do you have? What am I going to go out there and do to make 6 figures a year, to pay off all these loans, and to have a better lifestyle? So what I did essentially, which was presented to me as an opportunity very similar to this, is we found a way to change our situation. We found a way to give us choices. And we had to change how we saw you make money. Because probably I would venture to guess that most people in the room, when you go to work or go to your job, you're paid when you're there, but you're not paid if you're not there. Now, some of you may get a couple weeks of vacation time, and so paid time off, and that's all we had. I mean, I don't know about your job, but that prized yellow paper that I used to have to turn in to get my vacation days off, I hated every minute of that. And I thought there has to be a better way. I was a great employee, but I hated being an employee. And so when we are talking about earning a residual income and making money when you aren't actively working, there's really only a few ways to do this. Other than like being a rock star or famous author or some of these things that I'm pretty sure we don't have any in the room unless somebody has to step forward. You know, you could open a franchise. That's one option. Most of them are a couple million to start. So I don't know how many of you have that ready. You could inherit the money and invest it. You could just continue to work your job and continue to invest and save. And that's another option. Real estate, or you can own your own business. And out of all of the options, they all take hard work. I mean, maybe not inheriting the money. But everything else takes hard work, and it takes money. And unless you have the money right now to do these things, you're pretty much more limited in what options you have to go build an income like that. So if you are in the position we were, with all the debt, all those things I talked to you about before, I was at a point where I had to find something. And I'll be honest, when I started this business, I had no intention on not continuing to be a full-time physician. I had no intention of that. My only plan was to make enough money that I didn't have to moonlight in the emergency room when I was a cardiology fellow. That was it. And I actually was introduced to Arbonne by a fellow colleague. He's an ophthalmologist. And my husband and I would do different weekend moonlighting adventures together. And he is the one who said to me on that January, it was about like January 17th, I can still remember, and he told me that I should take a look at what his wife's doing. And I said, Bill, I mean, I don't need just $300 a month. I need about $3,000 a month. That would allow me to not moonlight and keep us from going in the red. And he said, well, that's what she's making approximately a month as an area manager. And so I said, all right, I'm in. I'd already used the products. I believed in the products. I knew nothing about network marketing. I'd not been in sales before. I couldn't even get people to take their high blood pressure medicine. So this is not, you know, I still feel like I live in a world where I don't convince anybody. I tell everybody that. I don't convince you to take your medicine, and I'm not going to convince you to do this business, because we have to make our choices for ourselves. But at that point, I jumped in with 2 feet. I had no idea how to do this business, but I signed up on January 19th. My friend, who's now my dear friend and sponsor, Cheryl Plauché, I told Bill that weekend, I said, I need to meet with Cheryl tomorrow. We were flying home on a Sunday. And he called her, and I could hear her through the phone, and she said, I can meet with her on Wednesday. And I said, Bill, not going to work. I need Monday, tomorrow. So that's the kind of people who, when you have people like that who come into your business, I mean, I had no idea what to do. I just knew that I had to do this. And so I jumped in with both feet, and then I did some real due diligence on the industry of network marketing. I would do that late at night. I'd spend my time doing research and learning facts instead of listening to opinions, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But if you are considering, as many of you I'm assuming who are here today are considering at least a network marketing business, because there are a ton of companies, and there are a lot of really great companies, and there's a lot that aren't. But there's 4 key factors that I feel like really should weigh in on your decision to which company you choose, and we're going to go through those. The one is your marketplace demand. For example, I don't think any of you would want to go start a business that was selling, vinyl records, because there's no marketplace demand. So Arbonne is health and wellness. I don't see that trend changing. I don't see people all of a sudden not wanting to look younger, feel better, and be healthier. I don't think that's going to go backwards. So we have the marketplace demand. You absolutely want a consumable product. Many of you may know people who sell jewelry or clothing or bags for network marketing companies. I love all those things, but I don't run out of them. So you want a product that people use daily, they use up, and they reorder. Because otherwise you're continually looking for new people. We always are looking for new customers, but we want the old customers to still be buying and still order. And after 10 years, or nearly 10 years in Arbonne, I still have customers from my very first month who place orders on their own, ship them straight to their house, and I'm paid on it every time. After 10 years. That speaks volumes for the products. The other pieces are the trends. People right now, as you know, are all looking for ways to make additional income, and they're looking for ways to work out of their home. So many companies are allowing people to work from home, and that's a big trend. So it's very, for most people, it's a really great concept that they can build a business on the side of what they're already doing, and they can do it from home. The fourth one is leveraging your time. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But in my career, I didn't get paid on anybody else's efforts. If I was a surgeon and my surgeon friend did X, Y, and Z, I don't make any money when he puts a rod in somebody's leg. I only get paid on what I do. So that in medicine, it's very hard to find a way to make a residual income in medicine. I actually have found a way, though. Because after Arbonne, I won't participate in activities that I cannot find a way to make income off of other efforts. Because you start to become very wise after you've been in this business a while and you are successful at it. You will see, people will present many of you opportunities. And I go through all of these 4 key factors. And when they don't meet those criteria, I have to find a way to make them meet the criteria. And I do practice medicine part-time with my husband in the same room. We drive an hour and 15 minutes to and from work together. And yes, we're still married. So, but I have found ways to do this because these 4 key factors are crucial. So when I'm here on this trip, my office is still earning income, and not just because I have my husband going in, but if we're both gone, I have an office that still earns income. And that was taught from Arbonne. All of my business sense, all of the decisions we make are from this business. And all of these ladies who've been around in this business a long time will tell you, it really is amazing what it teaches you. But what is network marketing? For many of you who are here as guests, you may not have had a chance yet to do any research on it. So network marketing is not a pyramid. Pyramids are illegal, and pyramids are when something is not being bought or sold. So they're typically shut down within a couple years of starting. You'll see, those chain of emails where if you give you know, if I give Laura $500, then I'm going to reap these rewards. And there's not a sale, a transaction taking place. You also cannot ever be paid to sign somebody up. That's illegal in the industry of network marketing. So all we are is a form of marketing. We don't pay Jessica Simpson to sell our acne products. We don't pay for all these advertisements in magazines. Instead, Arbonne pays us a commission on sales. That's it. It's no different than large firms that have sales, and the people who promoted higher in the business earn income and are partners off of the entire firm. This is no different. It just, unfortunately, and for those of you who are going to hear Tom Barrett tomorrow, I hope he'll talk about this, but network marketing has just had some bad apples. And unfortunately, bad apples can rot the rest of the barrel pretty darn quick. And so for many people, if you have a previous stigma of the industry or companies, I really feel like you kind of have to wipe that clean. Arbonne, our culture, the leaders that you'll meet and see, we aren't about that at all. You know, I never wanted anybody to run from me. I never wanted to pressure anybody to do anything. I have built my business, and everybody can build their business with the integrity that you would doing anything. So please, if you have some preconceived notions, try to work on getting rid of those. It can take some time. And try to not listen to the others who have those preconceived notions who are around you. And the best way you can do that is by educating you and educating those around you. And one of the best resources, I did not have the book, and I forgot to ask Dina to bring it, but Robert Kiyosaki, who I mentioned, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he also has written a book called The Business of the 21st Century. It does not speak to Arbonne as a company at all. It speaks to the industry of network marketing. This CD is 20-ish minutes, I think. It's been a while since I've listened to it. But I would encourage everybody who's taking a look at this business. We have this in a book. We have some other books that I would say are a little less businessy, and some women enjoy those books a little bit more. But educate yourself, because then when you're around the skeptics and you're around the people who question what network marketing is, you are confident in your choice. And that's really at the beginning stage what's so important. You need to build your confidence in this industry. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, we talked about how you earn residual income and how you earn income in the business. I'm going to demonstrate visually for you all how this business starts and how this business grows. So right here we have what we call tester sets, and there are two different ones. I'm not going to get into the specifics of them, but there is an entire anti-aging skincare set in here. We've got the wash, we've got, you know, your serum, we have everything in here. They're numbered, they say tester. We have laminated instructions on how to use it. And this right here is one of the ways that we get products into people's hands. And so if I am new in the business and I have 3 or 4 of these, Dina, did you have 4 in the very beginning?
Oh, I had more than that, but you don't want to know that.
Well, Dina worked these things, though, I will tell you, and that's why she's where she is. So these are like little employees. And so if I have 4 friends who can't make it to an in-home event, like a spa event that I'm going to do, I now can hand these out for 3 days to those friends, and then I come back and pick this up, reuse it, clean it with alcohol, and give it to the next person. These are little employees. They're working for you when you're home. They're working by every time they wash their face, they follow their laminated instructions. You don't even have to spend any time with them when you give them this. You just say it's all in there, they're numbered, you got it. And then set your time to pick it up. This is one way you're earning income without being there, because you're not with that person every time they're washing their face. So if I had 4 of these out in the week, and I have a group presentation in my home, and I'm in front of 5 people, and then I got these into 4 people's hands, probably the odds, that's 9 people, probably around half to 3/4 of those people will end up ordering products. And they can order products at a huge discount, which many of you have seen the packages and understand our discount. But this was one of the things I loved in the beginning. I knew that women were buying this stuff. They're buying mascara. They're buying hairspray. They're buying skincare. I didn't even wear makeup when I started Arbonne, and I barely washed my face. So things have changed. But I knew that women did all these things. So if I can offer them a discount on great products that they can use before they buy them, that doesn't even seem like sales to me. That's like a no-brainer. I mean, why would I not tell somebody that? I have an area manager in Hawaii, and she always says, I mean, why would you not do this business? That's what she tells me. I'm like, well, hey, honey, some people don't want to do this business. But that's really what we do. So out of those 9 people that I was in front of, let's say 5 of them place an order. They get a great discount. The product ships to their door. I'm paid on that. And when those people reorder again, they still get a discount, and I'm paid again. Now I have my friend Laura here who tried one of these tester sets, and she says to me, you know, I go through a little bit of a presentation with her because I really love her on my team. I'd love her to be in my business because I want everybody who I enjoy being around to be in my business. I don't want everybody, but I want those that I would share a hotel room with on vacation. You can be very selective in this business, and I love that because how many of you work with a whole crowd of people that you would not go on vacation with and share a hotel room? A lot of you, I'm sure. I had a whole bunch of those boring docs I used to have to work with. So I love Laura. So of course, why would I not tell Laura, hey Laura, you know, you should take a look at what I'm doing. It could, you know, allow you to be able to be home with your kids. She's going to go, okay, well, give me more information. So now she's used the products. Now she decides she wants to start the business. So now I help Laura build her business. I help Laura get her little 4 gold bags out. I help her do her presentation. And the same thing happens there. So that keeps rolling. Does that make sense to everybody? So we all have consumers. And we're looking, if we want to get past district manager, we're looking to build a team. And that, both ways, I have people who are district managers and have been district managers for years and they have no one on their team. They're still get a great discount. They still get a paycheck every month. And they've just chosen to not take it beyond that point. So it's completely up to them, but they still are getting a residual income, albeit smaller, because every time someone reorders in their organization, they're paid again on it. So that's the different ways, and I want to show you all visually. I might have, if you don't mind, Laura and Connolly, we have a stack of these. Don't flip it over to the other side because there's random things on the back sides of these. If you guys can kind of share, I think we have enough for about every couple people. I'll wait till everybody has this.
I might come back.
You have some extras? Anybody need one who doesn't have one? We have some extras. Can I take one, Con?
Yeah.
Thanks. So this is, and I use this exact laminated compensation plan. Anytime I go to pick up one of those gold bags, anytime I do a presentation, I let people see this. Because when I came to my first Arbonne event, which was a car presentation, somewhere there, a car presentation, I had no idea the kind of income that could be earned in a company like this. And from somebody who was making a fairly good income or was going to be making a fairly good income, this was a big piece that I needed to see. This isn't everything, and that's what Dina said, you know, the money is a part of it, but money's important, and it's the reason why most people start this business. I definitely didn't start it because I thought I was going to have more friends, you know. I'm so grateful for that, but that isn't why I started the business. So these are the different, in the dark blue are the different levels of management that we have, and you saw ladies today at the beginning who were in qualifications to become district managers and a couple new district managers. So these are the average monthly incomes and the average time to get to that position. At the level of an area manager, your business is willable. I don't technically know if that's a word, but in Arbonne it is. And that means that if something were to happen to you, your organization is transferred to another person's ID number. So my business will not end. There is a legacy that will continue. And I can tell you that that one piece, for those of you who choose to want to build your business and get all the way to these levels that are at the bottom here, that's huge. And I don't know of another company that offers that. So regional vice president is the level where you earn a white Mercedes. And then as a national vice president, you get a bigger car bonus. And you have actually only 1% extra that you make in your paycheck. But that 1% extra equates to quite a bit different every month. Now, these are some average incomes which fluctuate from year to year. And there also are the top 10 income earners in Arbonne are all making 6 figures a month. So, and that was one of the national vice presidents I heard speak at a car presentation. So it's possible. And it doesn't mean that they earn that because they started 20 years ago. There are people in the top 10 who've been in the business for 10 years and less. So it's possible. You don't have to have gotten in at the very beginning. In fact, I think it's better not to, because all those ladies paved the way and created a system that we just get to go to. So it's really easy. I mean, the business can be hard, but it's easy to follow a system that you know works because you've seen a whole bunch of people, myself included, Dina, these other ladies here, work that system. So I am going to ask the area managers and Amy, who are in my organization, come up here and share. I think did you guys get the email on what I wanted you to share? Yeah, can you come up now? Yeah. So I wanted these ladies to just share a few quick questions for you to see the diversity of people who joined the business. Now, many of these ladies have somewhat similar stories in ways, but this is, when you hear this, you're going to think of other people, and you're going to think of people who this would be a fit for. And I'm not going to bend all the way over. Sorry. Nice try there. So I just wanted you to hear. I asked what you do, or currently do, or did before Arbonne. What else did I ask you?
Why you started.
Why you started the business.
And what is the best
and what's the best part of the business.
And of course, you see how they all lined up.
I know. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so, all right, Jessie.
So my name is Jessie Collier. I'm the area manager and independent consultant with Arbonne. And in my past life, I was a national brand rep for a new product for United States Gypsum. And when the economy turned south, I took a severance package. They had paid for my MBA, and I decided to become a stay-at-home mom. So that's been going on for 5 years. So I'm currently a stay-at-home mom for 3 beautiful children, 5 and under. And let's see, why I started. So that's exactly why I started this business. So when
to get out of the house?
When I was introduced to Arbonne, I was at a pretty low point. I love my children, but I was sort of drowning in that, and I needed an outlet. And so when this was presented to me, I jumped right in. And the best thing about this business is it's made me a better mom, a better friend, a better wife. My husband can attest to that. And, you know, when I started this selfishly to have an outlet, but I never even fathomed the amount of growth that I would have personally because of this, and now because of this, being a stay-at-home mom, and after reading this book, and especially the chapter that his wife wrote in here, it became very clear to me that I wanted a way to be independent and to provide for my kids, my family. If something were to happen to my husband, God forbid, or something were to happen to his job, you hear stories of that all the time, and I didn't want to be another statistic in that. So I now have a willable business for my family and a plan B, which is now my plan A.
Thank you. Amy Muir, by the way, is working hard to get to area manager because I offered a retreat in Hawaii. You will be there. Any of you who get to area manager by the end of the year on my team, you can come to Hawaii.
All right, so my name is Amy Muir, and I work full-time currently. I am in clinical research. I am a manager in that industry, and I've been in the industry about 15 years. In addition to my full-time job, I have another full-time job of I've got 4 girls. My oldest is 13, my middle daughter is 11, and then I've got twins that are 8. So they are all actively involved in lots of different sports. They all play travel soccer. So I guess that's my full-time job, and also part of the reason that I decided to get into this business. I have to pay for all of that and for all of their college education and for all of those types of things. But I love the products. I was introduced to the products about 8 years ago. I met my friend and very good friend, Dina, and she introduced the business to me. And initially I thought, how in the world could I possibly fit something like this into my life? And I think it took a little bit of time. I was not one that jumped right in, like Jesse. It was something that I thought, I don't know how I'll find time to fit this in with my full-time job and with the kids and keeping up with everything. But I did some research, and I had some things kind of going on in our life from a personal perspective that just kind of opened my eyes and made me realize that you can't take a single moment for granted. Sorry. So I jumped in, and I decided that I wanted to build this business, and I wanted to give an opportunity for my family to live a different lifestyle. I am so blessed. I do like my full-time job. I'm good at my full-time job, but it's not something that I'm very passionate about. So I found with Arbonne, I found something that I'm passionate about, that I get to work with people and I get to help people and show them a better way, show them how they can have better skin or how they can be healthier. So I think that is probably the biggest difference that Arbonne has made for me is just, I think, just opening my eyes that it's giving me this outlet and this vehicle to be there for other people and to help other people kind of reach their dreams, but it also allows me this vehicle to provide for my family and give us a lifestyle that truly were only ever in our dreams and I now see are very, very possible. So.
My name is Laura Bodie. I'm also an area manager and independent consultant with Arbonne. And so a little bit about me. I actually grew up in a single parent home with a brother and a sister, and I remember as we grew up, my mom did everything that she could to make sure that we had fun things to do, but there were so many things that I remember as a little kid that I wish I could have done, like dance and gymnastics. And I knew from a younger age that when I got older that I was going to go to school, that I was going to get a really awesome job, and then when I had a family, I was going to be able to do all those cool things like dance and gymnastics and, take my kids to Europe or do whatever it was, and be able to do that. So prior to Arbonne, I was actually a full-time executive recruiter for a national company. I did a lot of travel. I did a lot of hours because we were all over the place. I actually had to work when my managers needed me. So I was doing that, and when I was introduced to Arbonne, I thought there is no way I'm going to be able to do these fun things with my 2 little girls. One on the way, but one wasn't on the way at the time. I haven't been pregnant that long. But I was worried that I would not be able to do all those fun things, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've been in school forever. I can't just like give this all up and just, change jobs and just hope it's going to work. But when I spoke to Connolly and when I spoke to my sponsor, Rachel, and I looked at the business and I looked at everything and I talked to my husband, I thought, I really think this might actually work. So I did jump in. And again, I'm currently an area manager. I'm trying to think where I'm going with this. So I jumped in. Within a year of doing my Arbonne business, I was able to quit doing those full-time hours. I don't have to travel at all anymore. I actually work still part-time recruiting, not because I have to, but because I love it. And also because I don't like to budget and I like a little bit of extra money. But I like the fact that I can wake up, walk my daughters to the bus. I can wear the same yoga pants every day. And that I get to come back, sit in my home office, work a couple of hours, and then just to give you an idea of my day today, I picked up my daughter from daycare. We went to Target. She helped me go shopping. Then I picked the one up from the bus stop. We went to gymnastics. I got to experience the whole thing, and there weren't a lot of parents in there. I mean, a lot of parents were working, and so it meant a lot to me to be able right now to still have a career with Arbonne, but also still have time with my family. So that's where I'm going with it.
Thank you.
I'm Connolly Stewart, and I'm an executive area manager with Arbonne. And prior to Arbonne, I was a full-time teacher. So that is, for me, very clearly what actually led me to start my Arbonne business. I quickly realized in my teaching career that I just didn't love, being told what to do. And, some teachers would stay till 2:40, which that was me. I was trying to get out of the door. And some would work till 6 p.m. and we all made the same amount of money. And that clicked to me very quickly that that wasn't really what I had envisioned for the rest of my life. Like Lynn was saying, what do you dream of as a kid? Well, actually, I dreamed of being a teacher as a kid, but what I didn't realize, and Arbonne showed me, is that one of my true dreams was to be able to raise my kids from home. So that's the other huge reason why I started my Arbonne business. So what I currently do, obviously, I have Arbonne, and I have two sweet little boys, Elliot, 10 months old, and Grayson just turned 3. So I get to be at home with them, and some days not at home with them, which for me is good because I've learned that I'm, better kind of at home, but not all the time at home with my kids. So Arbonne taught me that as well. You hear the biggest thing Arbonne's done for me. It's allowed me to be home with my boys. I mean, you cannot put a price tag on that for me, or to have those choices. But you know what it's doing now is it's really teaching me to be a dreamer. So naturally, I'm a total realist. If you're the realist out there, you understand like this whole dreaming concept. It's very hard to a realist, and that was me. But now I get to dream. It's 1,000 times more fun to dream, and I get to dream with my husband, and that's fun. And then I get to teach others how to learn to do that too, and how to be able to have choices. So that's what Arbonne's done for me. So, thank you.
So that was so great. You guys touched on so many things. Thank you so much, all of you. Many of them touched on this, but there's no degrees you can go get that are automatically going to give you more money or a better life or a better job. And we see that so many times. People have the degree behind their name and they think I could never do a business like this. But the question you really need to go back to ask yourself is, like Connolly said, is this really what I envisioned it would look like? So I went and got the degree, and then I realized that that was not how I envisioned it to look like. In reality, patients aren't anywhere as grateful as my Arbonne team is. I did way more for them than I do for most of my Arbonne team. I never got one thank you card from a patient prior to living in Hawaii. Never. I have 2 drawers full. I keep every card that I get in the mail. I have 2 drawers stacked full of thank you cards for my Arbonne team. From just appreciation, thank yous, gratitude, and yet somebody's dad is saved and no thank you card. So when people ask me, how I can make that shift, this is a more rewarding life, not just because of everything else and my time that I have, but personally rewarding than medicine ever could have been. And one of the biggest reasons why I went into it was to help people. So when I realized that most of the people in medicine that I would help as an internist, most of them didn't want to help themselves. So That's the difference in Arbonne. These ladies have what they have because of them. Not because of Dina, not because of me, not because of anybody else, but because of what they did inside of them. So if you're, I just want to touch on, because I haven't done this yet, if you're looking at network marketing companies and maybe you're comparing a couple of them, I just want to give you some facts that set Arbonne apart from the others that are out there. First of all, we've been in the business for 35 years. We have never changed our philosophy from the beginning of pure, safe, and beneficial. In Hawaii, everyone is looking for pure, safe, and beneficial. It's hysterical to me sometimes. They think that if they put olive oil all over their face because it says organic on the bottle, that somehow that's going to miraculously get rid of their wrinkles. So the part of the pure, safe, and beneficial is it's pure, meaning that our products are based from the ground up with minimal science. And then that's the pure. The safe means that we test on everything. So if you personally or you know somebody who has a lot of skin irritations or irritability and can't use some products, I was never able to use eye cream before, mascara. All of our products, we meet such high standards for that sensitivity that almost everybody can use, even our anti-aging line. And the beneficial piece, pure, safe, and beneficial, essentially means that what we say the product's going to do, it does. And we have research and data to back that up. So we're about a $400 million company. That's about the same size as Clinique. Our current CEO has her path set on hitting $1 billion. And part of that is going to happen with some of the country and the international expansions that we have happening. The products that I just want to touch on, because I know a lot of you here are guests, our flagship product is the one that I mentioned in this gold bag. It's displayed up here on the top charger, and that's our anti-aging line. That was released in early 2000, and it really took Arbonne off. The graph changed drastically when that product was released. It is one of the only anti-aging lines that actually works, that doesn't have a lot of chemical in it, such as retin-A's and those types of ingredients that many people don't want to use or can't use. So that's our flagship product. And along with that, I thought I saw one. I don't see one up here. We came out with a product recently called Genius, and it's a plant-based retin-A. We were really the first company to come out with that. So our research and development is cutting edge. It's not that we've been around for 35 years and we're kind of stuck with the same things. We are ahead of what comes out. And Genius, personally speaking, I can't use retin-A. I actually break out in hives all over my eyes, even if I don't put it on my eyes. And so Genius is the only option of something that I can use to give even a bigger anti-aging boost than our current anti-aging product line in the orange and gold bottles. The other is our health and wellness, which you all sampled out there, some of those products today. Honestly, that probably has done more for me than, I think I look good for my age, but I have lost, 10 pounds in the past year because of our health and wellness products. To find a product, I have a friend who is a naturopathic physician, and she said up until Arbonne, she'd never been able to find a protein source that was vegan, gluten-free, soy-free. Never. And Arbonne meets all those criteria, and it tastes great. So we have them in these ready-to-drink shakes, which I'm going to show you all. So we talked about that kit. I'm kind of jumping over here, but this is what we call a fit kit. So if you have friends who tell you, I love my skincare, I don't want to try anything, but they're into health and wellness, or maybe they're looking to lose some weight or something like that, you can give them a fit kit, which is essentially the health and wellness products that they can sample and use at home. This is the pre-made, ready-to-made drink. My husband and I drink one of these every day when we have to work and we drive an hour and 15 minutes in the car. This is our breakfast. And these actually were out for quite a while because our protein source has become so highly sought after that Arbonne had to go find new sourcers for our pea protein. But this drink, I hoarded them. Nobody knows this, but I had stacked boxes in my garage of this protein shake, and I actually ran out of the last box the week before they came back in stock. So I did pretty well. But the health and wellness products, I'm just going to touch upon, and these flyers will be in the back if anybody wants to grab one of these. We do this within our own nation. We do every month a 28-day clean eating challenge. So some of you may only know Arbonne is skincare. Some people don't even realize we have health and wellness. This is an amazing 28-day program that I feel like everybody at some point should do. Whether you continue to eat like that for the rest of your life is obviously a great option, but not everybody can do it. So this is a gluten-free, dairy-free, clean eating month. And we incorporate in the Arbonne products because they meet those criteria. And it's essentially detoxifying. Most people lose weight. This is what I did, and then I've continued to do this. So anyway, this clean eating challenge, it's free. And we have it all on our Facebook page for those in our nation. And some of you in other nations, you may want to talk to your people. They may have something similar to this too. But we'll have these in the back for anybody interested who wants to do this. The information session is Monday, a week from Monday, Monday the 22nd. And it's here. No, at a holistic spa. Ooh. All right. I won't be here still for that. Okay, so that I touched on some products. A few other things other than the products that set us apart, which really the products are so easy to sell. People use them and they buy them. And if they don't, I just say some will, some won't, so what next? My daughter is 7 and she took her stuffed animals door to door one day to make money to sell them for 50 cents. This was all her own idea. And she was disappointed when she came back from one house and these people didn't want to pay 50 cents for like 3 stuffed animals that were worth way more than that. And we walked away and I said, you know what, honey? This is what you have to learn. Some will, some won't, so what next? And so now my 6-year-old, almost 7-year-old, repeats that to me. And so when, I don't know, Jesse said this business makes you a better mom, there's so many things I teach my kids that I've learned, not just that sales saying, but in personal growth to my children that I know is changing the way they will grow up versus if I'd not ever jumped into this business. So, okay, we don't stock product. That's a key thing. We have free training. Some companies charge for their training for people in the business. Our compensation plan exceeds all the others. You can find right now money and then the future money that is larger. We don't have to deliver products. We have minimal startup costs. Arbonne has come out with some amazing packages that give you a great discount on products to get started for your own personal use and that you can use for presentations. I highly recommend getting some of these tester kits as well. The Mercedes is a nice perk, and the recognition. You know, many of you saw that at the beginning. And the first time I attended a meeting, I didn't go. And my sponsor said, oh, well, you should. I said, oh, my God. She said, oh, well, you're being recognized. And I said, for what? And she's like, for a district manager. And I said, oh, I don't need the flowers. I had never in medicine really been recognized. Most of us, how many of you, you know, some, like you get the ham, you know, the corporate ham, or the, you know, like my husband got like a nice plaque. So, but no one had ever given me flowers. I had never been given this much jewelry. So in the beginning, I used to have physicians, friends of ours say, oh, well, when are you going to come back to medicine? I'm like, well, when you give me a white Mercedes, diamond bracelets, you know, recognition, and I get a pick when I have my days off, then I'll consider it, which is now what I do. My husband now gives me the bracelets because I have to work with him. No, I'm just kidding. But, so, you know, that recognition may not seem like a big deal, but once you start getting it, it does wonders for people. And, you know, as moms, and so many of the women who join this business have kids at home, at the end of the day, nobody comes home and says, great job doing those diapers today, Mom. Good job with the laundry. You know, we don't get any of that. And as moms, most of us don't. And so this is a great way where you can be recognized for your efforts. I'm going to close with just by saying, you know, what you don't need to be successful in this business. You don't need to be a salesperson. In fact, I'm hard-pressed to think of someone in my organization that had a typical sales position who is an area manager or above. Sales is not needed. We will teach you what you need to know. You get these bags in people's hands, the steps are on them, and we will help you with how you put in the orders. This does not take sales. Remember, I don't convince anyone. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to know a ton of people. So I had about 30 people on my initial list of names, but I had 200 at my wedding, so I don't know what I was thinking. But I would like to know, if you're in my organization and if you have a guest here, nudge them to stand as well, because they may not know. If you can stand in the room if you're a part of my team. And the husbands who are and all of those.
If you're a guest of someone.
And a guest.
Johnny's name. So if you're a guest.
So I would venture to guess.
Are you a consultant in Lynn's?
Yes.
Yeah, but you said
Okay, thank you. Now, wait, stay standing, I'm sorry. If I knew you before Arbonne, stay standing.
Oh,
So I would say 2/3 of the room or so, maybe Jeff couldn't tell me, I couldn't tell from the back, is part, somehow you would be a part of my organization, and I didn't know anybody here. That is the way most of my business looks. So your business will grow based on the people you don't even know yet. And it's Dina's great story of like the friend of the friend of the friend of the friend who gives a sample pack and she ends up becoming a regional vice president in your business. So you never know. And if you get fixated on the fact that you don't know enough people or don't know the right people, it's going to drown you in fear and you'll never go out and do anything in this business. There's people everywhere with skin and hair. Everywhere. Everywhere. I promise. You just have to open your mouth. That's all it takes. I mean, today on the airplane, and my team knows this, I am not one, I will not walk up to people in Walmart, Starbucks, McDonald's. I do not do that because I think that that is just weird. And if somebody tried to get me to join their business at Starbucks, no way. This business is built by people who you know, like, and trust. But occasionally, I have to try to build a know, like, and trust relationship with people. So today on the airplane, Arbonne is, as many of you know, expanding to Poland on October 1st. So the stewardess was giving the announcement. I was like, that kind of sounds like a not English-speaking accent. What is that? I think that's Polish. I was like, damn, I'm not going to be able to sleep this hour on the way into Virginia. Because I was staying awake, and I thought, I want to watch her. I want to see how she interacts with the people on the plane. I want to decide, is this somebody who I would want to get to know and see if she still has possibly family in Poland? And if she does, of course, and she's given me all of her information because she's so excited that her family and she could be part of a ground floor opportunity in Poland. So that was me just needing to speak up and doing it in the right way, that it wasn't weird. So don't ever get weird when you start this business because you will not build a business that way. You just have to stay normal. You just stay normal is all you need to do. If you start to think you're getting weird, just ask somebody else around you and they'll let you know. Okay, you don't need to have an open calendar. I don't think anybody here has an open calendar where they're sitting at home eating bonbons and knitting. You know, it just, we don't have that kind of a schedule. You heard these ladies up here with all these kids and all these jobs. We fit this business into the nooks and crannies. These kits, all these different ways in which we build our business and we get in front of people, it can be done. It's just a matter of how much you want to change the way your life looks. It's really what it boils down to. And I know that Dina's going to come up here and do a final closing here. But, you know, Public speaking, you're not going to have to stand up in front of a crowd this big when you start your business. You can start one-on-one. You can even start like over the computer. We have people who have done parties over the computer. So there's so many ways you can grow this business. But I think the biggest fear or problem, this is, I said, what you don't need to have to become successful. You do need to have some courage. And the reason I say that is because this business, for some reason, gives most people this fear of hiding. You know, if you sold, you know, something for another company and you had somebody sitting next to you on an airplane who was looking for those kinds of tires, one of my regional vice presidents used to sell tires. I mean, she hated it, but she sold tires. So if somebody said that, you would be the first one to say, well, come to my store and buy some tires. But for some strange reason in this business, people don't want to tell anybody that they do this because it's the fear of what other people think. And unfortunately, most women, I'm going to pick on the women here for a minute, have a tendency to go from person to person to person to get opinions and to gather their information to make a decision. So men do not do this, and I never did this because I think of my medical training and in research, every decision is made based on data and facts. It's not based on my friend's mom who had this done in the hospital. We don't make decisions like that in medicine. And so I don't make decisions like that in my life. I mean, other than like what outfit to wear, then I may ask somebody for advice. But when it comes to a decision that's going to change my life, I look at the facts. Unfortunately, most women do, and this is not my term, but I love it. It's called, and I said this the last time I was here, pooled ignorance. Most women go and pool all of these opinions from people who may be really smart, but they're ignorant about that topic. So the people that you're going to ask about this business and if you should do this, ask people who have done it and have actually done it successfully. Because, or ask somebody who has their MBA. Most MBA programs now all teach network marketing. Talk to somebody who is not ignorant in the area of network marketing. Because what you're doing is you're pooling the ignorance. And that isn't going to get you anywhere. And so if you feel the need to go out and ask people, either don't listen to most of them or go find the right people to ask. Because I think that's one of the hardest things for me when I see people, women who are looking to start this business, is that they make their decisions based on that. So, you know, it's your life, it's your dream. You had the dream one day. You may have it again, like Connolly said. And what you do now is what's going to change what it can look like 5 years from now. So please don't let what other people think hold you back from that. This is too great of an opportunity for you to pass up. So thank you everybody for coming. Dina, I know
Thank you so very much, Lynn. And before I just close this out here, we have a little.
Oh my! There's not a little gift.
Well, you can.
Who picked the bag? This is so cute.
Oh, Natalie did.
Natalie, good job.
Natalie said this looks like Lynn. I said it does. Thank you. Thank you. See, I'm delegating. How about that? So anyway, I want to thank all of you for coming. I meant to thank at the beginning the wonderful area managers who were standing up here for helping me put that sampling table together tonight. So y'all wipe that out if you haven't already before you leave. So we'd love for you to sample the products. Everything back there was made with Arvon something that fits on that table. So thank you again, Connolly and Jesse and Laura, for helping me do that. And I know that, again, when Lynn was saying, you know, stand up, if I knew you before, that's exactly what I wanted to say, is just picture that when Lynn, if probably had been in her business about a year, so you were then practicing as a physician in Texas, had no idea, and I could not find that horrible garment, Connolly, that I said I was going to bring up here, had no idea that out here in Virginia, I owned a business, and still do, with my husband, that keeps me at home when I'm working on that business in a little typical living room office. And if you have your go-to front clothes at home, does anybody have it? Oh, y'all do have those because you're nodding like you know what they're. I had this horrendous thing that was this black one-piece sweatshirt thing that I did it's like a little kid's pajama thing, but it was really comfortable. I mean, nothing fit around here. That is what I was probably while you were practicing medicine and beginning your Arbonne business. I probably had my hair pulled up on the top of my head, no makeup, and this horrible garment. I could not find it. I wanted so bad to bring it in. I brought it in once. Some of y'all have seen it. And to have no idea that here was this, you know, middle-aged, you know, now empty nester at home, bored to tears with the job that I had that had its advantages because it brought in an income and allowed me to be at home. When we bought that, when our daughters were still at home, but they were gone now. We still owned it. It was still a good business. But I knew down to my core that I was meant for more than to just sit in front of this computer, fax, and phone and just do paperwork to earn an income. I wanted to do something where my life, my work, made a difference in others' lives every waking minute. Not just squeeze out some volunteering time, which I was doing, but it was way too much time of something that didn't have personal meaning for me and hands-on making a difference in someone else's life. And I would never have guessed that it would have been found in a network marketing company, which is why I was so resistant to it in the beginning. But I was in my mind looking for something else. I just couldn't interview for whatever this was because I had this perfect job created and I knew it wasn't going to be in the newspaper and really just didn't think, what is it? Because by then I had been self-employed for so long that I was truly unemployable, that I could not go back to trading my time for a set dollar amount while I built the wealth of someone else. I could never again ask permission if I could be gone for 3 hours to go do something with my daughters or a friend. And I could not just have that, you know, again, the dollar amount set when I had a business at home that I was paid more. But this is one where there's unlimited, that you really can be paid what you're worth, where you can give yourself raises. But again, it's not, when I began looking into this, what I saw beyond just that it was going to meet the income that was needed. It was going to replace my 1996 Olds that was on its last leg, which Arbonne did. And I laughed because Lynn came to Virginia a couple of times where she had to ride in the front passenger seat of the car that blew warm air on me in the wintertime, but cold air on her, and she had to have a blanket. Do you remember that? And so it's much nicer to drive her around in a car that Arbonne is completely paid for. But far more, it has allowed me to spend my every waking day doing something when I'm not still getting the other business done, get that done and get back to this, because it's not just the product sales. It's getting to help others to dream again and have a realistic way to make those dreams come about. And like Connolly, I'm her sister realist here. And so I had just, I didn't dream because I knew that there was no way to make that come about. So I didn't want to think about things that were not going to be possible to have. And I'm not talking about stuff. I didn't dream about stuff. I wanted memory-making times with our family. I wanted to be able to give generously. I wanted things that really don't have, you know, price tags on them. I didn't want more stuff to put in a house that already has an attic of 22 years that needs to be cleaned out of stuff. But it was those intangibles that you know, we continue to not do one year after another. So when you hear a presentation like this, it's so easy to ask, you know, what is the catch? There's got to be a catch. This sounds too good to be true. And the catch that we've all found is this. It's that you work. And that's it. That's the catch, is that you work. The work has meaning. The work has purpose. The work is never the same every day, because the point I started to make here was the only consultant on my team who I knew when I started this business is my older daughter, Carly, who's a district manager in our organization. And every single other consultant in this room I did not know when I started this business. And now I have a room full of awesome friends that it's my privilege, and some of you I'm just now meeting, and it will be my privilege to get to help you as well to be on this path where you can dream again and have a realistic path to run on. So Lynn, thank you for coming and sharing this. Yes, we're doing raffles, and hopefully if you are a guest, Natalie, where's the